the key is to find a strategic partner. If you are not in the foreign national market, you may just kind of start prospecting, looking with people that basically have access to this type of customer, right? For example, foreign national, they love to buy real estate in the United States. You maybe are not a real estate agent, but you maybe live in an area or you know someone in other part of the United States that basically have a real estate agency. That's their business, what they're doing all the time. And maybe once in a while they are selling property to a foreign national.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CBS Spotlight. If you are here by mistake, you are in the right place now. I'm Eric Alvarado, along with my co-host, Mr. Ted Hikes, and we are your friendly guides through the world of insurance and wealth management. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have on our show Mr. Fabian Gonzalez, National Vice President, focusing on the high net worth foreign national market with Symetra. Fabian, welcome. Did I miss anything?
Well, you know what? I am very happy to be here with all of you, and you haven't missed anything. My name, my title, Symetra, everything is correct. Just a little bit background about me. As you can see, English is not my first language, and I used to say that I learned English in Minnesota, so probably my Minnesota accent is not very well, but I will be trying to improve that during the rest of this conversation. In terms, about Symetra and the high net worth foreign national space, and even before jumping into that, let me share I started working in the insurance and financial services in 1989 in my country, Argentina, in the city of Buenos Aires. My entire life has been in the financial services, especially in the life insurance area, since I moved to the United States in 1999. And the high net worth foreign national space is someone that I really enjoy. So I has been working in this area, and I planning to continue doing as well.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Fabian, again, thank you for being here. We're very excited. I think this is an interesting topic because it's something that I think a lot of advisors don't know a lot about, and it can be I think a little bit more complicated. So can you give me like an idea, how big is the high net worth foreign national market in reality?
Yeah. Well, let me start saying that it's not complicated. Okay. This is no rocket science. This is basically life insurance, right? So again, sometimes we try to make things complicated when they are not, right? Probably there are a little bit of more sophistication sometimes, in those type of cases. But, answering your question, there's no any specific data about how big is the high net worth foreign national, opportunity, right? But I would like to say that, in the United States, especially, U.S. insurance company has been allowing to qualify individuals to apply for life insurance for many, many years, right? This is, again, it's not a new topic. I really believe that this market started in the 80s, but there are no any specific data about how big is the market, from which type of region that you have more consumer. I would say that sometimes it's seasonal, right? Depending on what's happening around the globe, sometimes they are more interested in U.S. life insurance. But again, there are no any specific data about how big is this market.
That was a great answer, Fabian, and you're right. I mean, it's hard to kind of quantify like just how big that marketplace is because it varies, depending on what's going on in the rest of the world. But, I'm seeing more insurance companies that are starting to enter in the space. And in my opinion, this has been driven by consumers that are looking for, different types of insurance products, and producers are also for more life insurance, I guess, or looking for more solutions for their consumers. So it means this is a great market opportunity for expansion. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And you are absolutely correct by saying that, there are more insurance companies, jumping into this space. And in my personal opinion, that is good. competition is good. As you can,
Sure.
as you know, right, there are no insurance companies. They have, a full portfolio of product to actually, fulfill all the life insurance solution their product can provide, right? So this is great that there are, more companies jumping into this market. And again, yes, you are correct. This has been driven by consumers and from agents looking different type of product, looking different type of solution, to fit that need of their customer, right? And I think, the market is still in great expansion. So I think that the opportunity, ahead is very important. And if, producers are not looking into the market, they are missing an opportunity to help more people basically to achieve financial freedom using life insurance product.
So Fabian, one of the questions I think that I always have and that I tend to get asked when you're talking about foreign national businesses, why as a general rule do wealthy foreign nationals find the U.S. attractive?
Yeah, that's a great question because, we live in America and sometimes, we forget what we have, right? And I really believe, the wealthy foreign national find the United States attractive, for, a series of factors, right? Let me highlight a few, right? They are more than what I want to say, but, let me highlight what I think are the main reason, right? Number one, we live in a country where we have a very strong financial system, right? And that is very important, right? If you are a wealthy foreign national, a wealthy individual, you want to be in a jurisdiction, where they have a very strong financial system, right? Believe it or not, we are seeing significant change in our country, and change is good, right? It's part of the American experiment, right? If I remember correctly, right? But, this country is very politically stable, right? When you compare, with other part of the world, this country is politically stable, right? Also, when you take a look, it's a country with a very strong financial system. And that system is basically created to property protection, right? Which is, very interesting, right? Also, if you are a wealthy individual and you live, in any part of the world, you don't want to have all your assets in the same basket, right? You are basically looking for a jurisdiction where, you have opportunities to address diversification of your wealth, and the United States have, offer, significant opportunities for wealth diversification, right? Also, I really believe that we have, very favorable rules, to transfer wealth, right? And something that, when you are a wealthy individual, something that is super interesting for this individual is, private and confidentiality, right? And not because, they are bad actors, right? That they want basically, high assets, and things like that. They want to make sure that, basically when they share sensitive financial information, right, for the underwriting process, right, depending on the death benefit, this individual, they need to provide, third-party financial information. They want to make sure that they, provide that information, to an insurance company or to an entity, right, the advisor, right, and they take, that information very serious, and basically comply with privacy and confidentiality. So that's, I believe, they are the main reason. Probably, there are many more, but, talking with producers, they are very active in this market. They usually highlight this one as the main reason why a foreign national see the United States as an attractive jurisdiction.
Very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, Fabian, you touched on this one a little bit in your previous answer, but can you talk a little bit more about why foreign nationals are looking for U.S. life insurance solutions? Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yes. You're right. In my previous answer, I kind of give a little bit of information, right? But give me added a few more things that I believe they are important, right? Wealthy foreign national often like to own assets, in U.S. dollar for currency diversification. and they like own an asset, outside our country. And life insurance is my understanding that is also an asset class, right? So when you take a look, sometimes, a insurance company in another part of the world, right? And they maybe don't have, access to, very high face amount like we have in the United States. There are some limit. They maybe can buy a few millions and things like that, right? And also sometimes, and again, depending on the country, U.S. life insurance maybe provide a better value proposition, which is basically, something very important for them because, our products, when you take a look, sometimes tend to be, a little bit more sophisticated type of product. So basically, putting around, the certification of the product plus, the value proposition maybe makes a good sense for this customer to buy life insurance in the United States.
Fabian, you mentioned in your previous answer that sophistication is one of the reasons that a high net worth individual, foreign national, may want to get into the U.S. life insurance market. To that end, is premium financing allowed in the space?
Yes, the answer to that question is yes. And at Symetra, we allow premium financing to qualify individual, right? I am not run the premium financing area. Our premium financing area, we have a specific team. But if you have a potential candidate when you can see that premium financing could be, something that interesting, a good approach. Please give us a call. We have a team that specializes in premium finance, and for sure they will be help you with that specific request.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Beautiful. So Fabian, kind of getting into, the whole process side of things, because I think just from, my limited knowledge about the foreign national space, I've always been a little bit intimidated, and I think other advisors are, as far as like the whole process and, getting clients qualified, besides the stated guidelines, I guess, that are out there. I mean, how is it easier or more accommodating on the proposed insured to kind of work with Symetra and kind of the things that you guys do? Because I know these tend to be a lot more sophisticated clients, probably business owners, things of that nature. They don't really have a lot of time to, have to travel to the U.S. or something like that to accept applications, exams, all that good stuff, which I know can be limiting factors. So explain, I guess, a little bit about what you guys do and how you guys make that easier.
Yeah. Sometimes, it makes things easy. Sometimes I'm not possible, right? But we always would like to make the process as easy as possible, right? But always, we need to understand that, in the United States, insurance, right, in general, and, also, life insurance, right, is regulated at the state level, right? And basically, the state law require that, all the solicitation, of the business must take in the United States, while, the insurer and policy owner, if they are different, right, are legally and physical present in the state where basically, the solicitation is taking place, right? And our definition of solicitation basically includes the process, the entire process, basically you sit with the client, you discuss, the need, the financial need, you find what is the product that makes sense basically for him, right, or for her, right? Complete the application, do the medical exam and test, right? So basically, those are things that basically we want to make sure they are taking place, in the United States. And also, we need to make sure that, all the documents and, any other additional form that is required by the state where the customer basically is applying for the life insurance, dated by, this individual when he or she is in the United States, right?
So Fabian, you may have touched on this in the previous answer, but I think it's important to let our audience know, and I certainly would like to understand a little bit better, what makes Symetra unique in this particular space?
Yeah, I really like that question. To be honest, I love that question because it's the question that, usually a lot of people ask, producer, agencies, employee, what Symetra is doing, right? Why Symetra, right? And for me, the answer is simple, right? Why Symetra, right? Our producer basically said, that they like Symetra because we understand this market, right? Basically, we have very clear guidelines, how to do the business, how to submit the business. We are completely transparent how we're doing the business. We don't have, shortcut or anything different. What we have in our guideline is what we follow. And basically, we treat every customer the same way. When we're looking about resources, Symetra has dedicated resources to support the high net worth foreign national market. For example, dedicated underwriting team. It's very important to have underwriters who understand this market. The other day, I was talking with a producer, and someone said to me, "Oh, I started working with this company, and their program looks beautiful. I sent an application, and nothing happened." Right? We don't want that happen, right? That's a bad experience for you, for your customer, for everybody who is involved, try to help this individual with their financial need. So basically, we want to make sure that that we have underwriters, they understand this market. But not only that, we also have, a team of dedicated case managers that support the high net worth foreign national. So basically, when producers are submitting the application, this case manager understand what is the requirements, what are not requirements, what are different, depending on the state where they are applying for coverage, right? Another very important resources that we have that is part of our sales team is what we call our concierge team. We have a team assigned in each territory that support, our different producers across the country. And basically, this concierge team understand also the guidelines, understand what are the procedure. So again, we really put, everything in place to make sure that, the producers have a great experience when they working with Symetra. And also what I heard all the time, that in addition of, underwriting and addition of, dedicated teams that we have, people, they really like that our entire portfolio of product with full underwriting is available for this market. So we are no limit, like, sometimes you maybe find, yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you find a company say, "Oh, we only have this product for the foreign national market, or we only have this other product," right? We are no one to dictate which product your customer or the customer that your producer are looking for, working is basically having the conversation. We have our full portfolio of products. If your client is looking for term, it makes sense to sell term. Term is available for foreign national. If your customer is looking, index universal life with focus on accumulation, we have an index universal life focus on accumulation, and basically it's available for him. If a client is looking for more kind of protection, right? Well, we have products while life insurance always is protection, right? Because basically all these products is about protection. What we basically have is our index universal life focus and protection available for them. Sometimes an advisor said, "Hey, you know what? For whatever reason, I think a BUL is necessary for this customer because this customer need this type of solution." We have our VUL available. Again, our full portfolio of product is available for them. And like I said to you, there are a lot of things that we have at Symetra, and we are excited to continue making this program and the way that we work something that make your customers and your distribution partners happy to do business with us.
The whole client experience thing, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, Fabian, if you could kind of maybe elaborate or tell us a little bit more about, Symetra's specific underwriting guidelines. Do you have unique nexus requirements that set you apart from other carriers?
Yes, I think we have, a lot of flexibility in our U.S. Nexus connection requirement. But before jumping into that specific, related to the Nexus, let me tell you that there are three kind of mandatory basic requirements that, and a foreign national, wealthy foreign national must have in order to qualify for our program, right? Number one, they might have a passport. I don't believe no one can jump into a plane without a passport, right?
Sure.
And there are a significant amount of countries around the globe that the United States the State Department actually require a visa in order to enter to the United States. So basically, for those countries that the United States require a visa, we require the passport and the visa. And there are approximately 50 countries, if I remember correctly, around the world that basically are participant in what is called the U.S. Visa Waiver Program. So basically, individual for those countries, the United States do not require visa to enter. So basically, the United States don't require visa to enter. We do not require visa as well. Okay. So also, the next requirement, which is, very important, is that this program is not for just foreign national. This program is for high net worth foreign national, right? And we basically require, in order to apply for our program, that this foreign individual must have at least $1 million in a global network, right? Or $1 million or equivalent, right, to $1 million. And the key word is global, right? Because sometimes, when you review, other competitors, right? Sometimes they have very specific guidelines about the network, right? They maybe require a specific percentage of that network to be in the United States to justify X percentage of the death benefit, right? So basically, I think we are a little bit more flexible also from that requirement, from that underwriting requirement as well, right? And in regard of your question about the U.S. Nexus, I really believe that we have a very flexible U.S. connection requirement, right? So basically, we require just one, and I want to give you a few examples of what are acceptable U.S. connection, right? For example, is someone own real estate in the United States. It could be, I don't know, commercial real estate, personal real estate, right? Or if they maybe have a business, right? They have a subsidiary, from their home country business in the United States. Also, those options qualify for a Nexus. Other type of nexus that we allow is when individuals have a very clear U.S. tax liability, right? That can be used for justify the nexus. Of course, if this individual has immediately family member residing in the United States, they can use the family member as a connection with the United States. And also we have one day I think a lot of people like a lot is that we allow individual with regular travel for business or travel for pleasure into the United States. So basically regular travel to the United States also can be considered a connection with the United States.
So
And
even
of
if they
course,
don't have a business or anything, like they're just coming in here to, like, maybe they're a performer
exactly,
or
yeah,
something.
they come in here, exactly. They come in here, and we can see in the travel records that this individual has been in the United States at least 2 times in the last 5 years. That it can be considered like a U.S. connection, right? And what we are
Fabian,
seeing, which is
is the 2 times in 5 years, is that a hard and fast rule, or you just throw that out there? Do you guys have specific guidelines on that?
that is the specific dialogue that we have.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And I was trying to tell you which I think is the more popular U.S. connection that we are seeing, right?
Sure.
And why is the most popular? It's also because it's the way that the people pay the premium, right? So another connection with the United States that we allow is basically individual who have a U.S. bank account or a U.S. saving account or a U.S. brokerage account, right? That has been, at least active for 1 month and has a minimum balance of 10,000, right? So basically, I will tell you that is, what we are seeing a lot. There are a lot of individuals that they have a bank account, and because they have a bank account, they also have regular travel, right? They come in, once in a while to meet with their wealth management advisor, with a financial advisor, and basically, they travel to the United States. So basically, those are the two more popular that we are seeing. And I want to also highlight that we only accept premium payments from a U.S. Regulated financial institution, right? So
Makes sense.
basically, the bank account, in addition to be used as a connection, is also a requirement to pay the annual or quarterly or whatever way they pay the premium.
Interesting. Thanks. That was very helpful, I think, for me especially. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for all that information. I think before we to move to the wrap up, there's probably a lot of people out there listening to this, and I am certainly one of them, who are thinking to themselves, love this, would love to be in this space. I potentially have clients that look like this, that this is a fit for. So, I'd like to kind of wrap this up with how, if I'm an advisor, do I get into this space? What are some good steps to take to get me started in this process?
Yeah. It's a fantastic question. I love the question. I get that question all the time. I will tell you that, there are different type of advisor, right? And people sometimes say, well, I live in an area where I don't see too much foreign national people, right? I don't see people coming to my city where I live because, we are no a big city. We don't have, I don't know, a big campus where, foreign national came to, college and university, right? So I think the key is to find a strategic partner, right? If you are not in the foreign national market, you maybe can start, prospecting, looking with people that basically have access to, this type of customer, right? For example, foreign national, they love to buy real estate in the United States, right? But, you maybe are not a real estate agent, but you maybe live in an area or someone in other part of the United States that basically, have a real estate agency. That's their business, what they doing, all the time. And maybe once in a while they are selling property to a foreign national, right? So I think, a leverage partnership, right, is a great opportunity. Other thing, for example, that came to my mind is like, for example, financial institution, right? If you are a wealthy person around the globe, you probably have a bank account, with some money, right, in the United States, right? But maybe rich, some of those banks, maybe they are regional banks, right, in your area, that they maybe have, I don't know, an international wealth management desk, right, that they are basically dedicated to, for the individual, right? Other areas, like, for example, imagine, we talked early about the opportunity with, using the connection individual who have business, right, in the United States. Well, if you have a business in the United States, I believe that, those business must have the requirement to file taxes, right? So maybe working with a tax attorney, maybe working with a
Yeah, makes
CPA,
sense.
right?
Okay.
That maybe work with those individuals could be another opportunity, right? So, but, there are many opportunities, but, let me give you another three things important, right? That is, in my opinion, very important, right? If you are an advisor that you are no active working in the foreign national market, please try to ally yourself with an insurance company to understand this market, right? The last you want is to start working, right? You maybe have a strong relationship, with an insurance company. They maybe are in the foreign national. They may be doing, some cases, but then maybe they are not very active, right? So make sure that you align with a company who basically understand the foreign national market. And also, make sure that do not assume, right? Sometimes advisors say, well, I work with this company and for the domestic market, they ask me this, and that, right? Well, do not assume, because each company has their own program. And while we are very similar, right? Sometimes we also are different, right? So make sure that, you do not assume that, oh, I doing this way, this going that way, right? And last but not least, if you have a foreign national case, I am your partner. I am a free extension of your team. and you would like to discuss a case, if you have a potential customer that you don't maybe know if it's an opportunity or no, please connect with your office, right? And I talk with your organization all the time. I saw the principal of your organization last week in a meeting, a business meeting. So again, happy to help in any capacity that we have, and thank you for all the time and the great question that you asked me this morning.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Fabian, this has been great, very eye-opening and very informative. So thank you again for your time. We really appreciate you jumping on with us, and thank you for the partnership. We appreciate you and the folks at Symetra. Always great to work with. Any last thoughts or comments you want to mention or anything before we wrap up today?
This was awesome. I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to the partnership and help in any capacity that I can.
Beautiful. Hey, well, for everyone out there, I'm Eric Alvarado.
And I'm Ted Hikes.
This has been CVS Spotlight, your friendly conversation about insurance and wealth advising come together. Thank you for tuning in. And if you found this helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Fabian. Thanks, Eric.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.